Hello everybody and welcome to Neat Games. In this video we're going to be talking about my friend, my love, Armiger. Armiger? I never knew how to pronounce it. I think it's Armiger. Anyways, let's take a look at our friend's skill kit and understand what he needs to provide you with the value of him as a champion. We're also going to take a look at Sepulchre Sentinel and maybe even one other defense champion to show you kind of the gamut and the differences between different defense builds and how to focus on what to do. As always, where do we start? With their skill kit. So his skill kit is pretty simple. There's only 2 skills here. Okay, he's a defense-based champion, and his damage is based off of defense on his A1 and defense and enemy max HP on his A2. But this is not a champion where really defense is the bread and butter and what we're going to be focusing on. Why is that? Because read the first skill. It attacks one enemy, and it decreases the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. So what does that tell us? Number 1, this man needs 100% crit rate. And number 2, this man needs accuracy. So the actual 3 most important pieces of this defense-based champions build, in my opinion, is crit cap, accuracy, and speed. Because you want him going often to make sure that he's doing his job with the decreased turn meter. And this piece right here as well. This is going to be more based off of the enemy max HP than it is on his defense. So you always want to understand what you're building before you build them. Now this is a build I put him in a while ago. That's why you can see it's all 4-star gear. I did the best that I could at the time to get him some crit rate and some accuracy and some defense. But it wasn't a good build. So now is a perfect opportunity for us to rebuild our buddy. So as always, we're going to start with speed boots. We're going to start with the highest star ones available. We're going to go to the fitting room. And most likely, actually, we're going to put these resilience boots that we didn't end up putting on one of the other champions. But we're going to look and see, is there another option with one with accuracy in it? There is. There's a speed boot with accuracy here, and a speed boot with accuracy and flat stat defense. So if this double rolls on accuracy, we're actually probably going to use this piece instead. Even if it's single rolls on accuracy, we might do this instead. We're going to take it to 12. We're going to see what the 12 roll is. And we are running out of silver, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do this whole build. But we're going to try our best. We're going to try our best. Flat stat HP. Not the best thing, not the worst thing. Let's try this one. See if we can, again, roll some accuracy, because that's the goal here. We want him to have speed, we want him to have accuracy, and we need him to have crit rate. Now, the way we're probably going to get crit rate on him is just putting him in a really high percentage, a high star crit rate glove. That's going to be the easiest way. So between these 2 pieces, this one is the better option because there's more accuracy. So that's going to be the base of the start. Now we're going to look at crit rate in the main here, and maybe even accuracy. No, so we're going to go with defense percentage. Nope. Okay, so for example, we have 2 pieces here. This one is an accuracy chest, which is very important on him. Speed and crit rate. This is a really good piece for this specific build that we're trying to do on Armiger, especially if it hits crit rate twice. Even though it didn't, it's still a good piece. Now, accuracy chest is kind of my backup. I'm rolling this to have it ready in case I can't get enough accuracy elsewhere. But I really would ideally like him in a defense percentage chest with a substat of speed, crit rate, and accuracy, or crit rate and accuracy, or crit rate. So this might be a good option because it's in an accuracy set, and there's some crit rate here. So maybe we can get lucky, roll some crit rate here, and then we can find another piece with more accuracy and crit rate in the accuracy set. And unfortunately, this is the only way you really can build these pieces. You can't just you know, always have your gear rolled because it's not realistic. Nobody has that much silver. So again, we're going to look at substat of crit rate or accuracy. We're going to get off of the chest, and we're going to look in the weapon. Do we have anything in the weapon for accuracy? We don't. What about just crit rate in the weapon? So we missed here, unfortunately. Let's see if we can get some here. Okay, good. We got a crit rate roll there. This is starting to get scary. Okay, So now we can see the accuracy is getting decent. The speed isn't great. But the crit rate, if we actually put in a crit rate primary stat glove, let's say for argument's sake, we find one with speed and accuracy. That's the dream. So we can see we're already at 80%. And now if we look at this piece, it's at 33 right now. And it's going to get another 17 when we take it to 16, if we decide to take it to 16. Maybe we don't want speed as well. Maybe we just want accuracy. Maybe we want to look at equipped, see if there's something better. I feel like this piece actually might be good for Armiger here because it's got defense percentage, it's got accuracy. So same logic applies. Once we take this one to 16, we're going to gain another 17%. So as long as we can find a couple more percent of crit rate, we're already basically capped actually. So really, this could be the build for him. And since we know that we're going to change my apothecary anyways, let me move my face. Since we know we're going to replace my apothecary's gear anyways, this could be the base of his build. And now we want to find primarily speed and accuracy in these two pieces. This is one way we can look at building him. Now we also could build him in Relentless because we know we have a lot of Relentless, but I want to try and not do that for every build because it makes it a little, irrelevant. So something like this, for example, could be the best build for him, where my main focus is speed and accuracy and crit rate. Now, the problem is his speed is going to be pretty low with this build, but we did the best we could with the gear that we have. So his speed is low. It's going to go up a little bit more, obviously, once we throw on the other pieces, but his accuracy is decent. His crit rate will go up to almost capped with this build. You know, the defense is low, but obviously he's only level 40. So something like this might be okay for this Armiger build. And I'm going to do what I told you I do, where I take a screenshot, I paste it somewhere, and I say Armiger build number 1. Now keep in mind, the defense is going to go up here, and we also were looking at the potential of putting him in an accuracy chest. So we're going to start from scratch. We're going to get rid of all of these pieces, and we're going to literally start from scratch and see what we can come up with if we do a different build. So let's go high star speed. Let's say we want to throw him in that. Those resilience boots that we had, and then we're going to find an accuracy chest with substat or crit rate. This one was the one we were looking at. Now again, we're going to find crit rate gloves, and we're going to look at our highest ones. So maybe this is a really good piece for him because it's a 6-star, which means we'll be able to cheat on the other pieces. And now we're going to look for speed and accuracy, ideally, in the other pieces. So we'll roll this piece up, even though we're really running low on silver. See if we can get any of the bottom 3. It really would be good. Now, Armiger is another example of a champion that's really hard to build for early game accounts because he has such a greedy skill kit. But you do the best you can. Okay? So right now, as we can see, I'm building him in kind of arbitrary gear. I'm just looking for the best gear that I can find in each subsequent piece that has the substats that I'm looking for. And this build actually looks like it might be better than the one that we just did because the speed is already much higher. Yeah, the crit rate is low, but the glove is literally level 0. So why don't we roll up that glove a little bit. Okay, so right now we're not going to be able to roll it too much because I literally have no silver left. The attack percentage is not what we wanted because this is literally a dead stat on Armiger, but the speed is what we wanted. Likely won't even be able to get this to 12, but... Rip. So let's just go in and quickly sell some stuff. So do HP, attack, and defense in the flat stat. Let's take away equipped. Let's leave the speed pieces because I'm going to actually go through them. Leave the lifesteal. Leave the relentless because I have to go through them. But the rest can leave the percent. Oh god. Okay, this is not the best way for me to do it. So let me see if I have anything else that I can sell. Because I actually have to go through this gear and see if there's anything that might still have viability. So we can sell these ones for sure. Do we have any 3-star, 1-star? No, we don't. Likely can sell these pieces. This has speed and a substat. likely can just get rid of this stuff. Okay, now let's go back to those crit rate gloves. Try and get it to 12. There we go. And now if we equip this, it'll show us a better understanding of what our base stat is. So, for example, this build, which is completely different than the other builds. Okay? When we take this to, we're going to gain another 21% on the crit rate here. Right? So it's actually going to be about 96% crit rate. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up both builds that I just did together and show you how you kind of use the fitting room to your advantage. So let's take a look. Okay, so can I make it not 100 and not, no, I can't. So look at the builds, okay? The boots are different, the chest is different, the gloves are different. The only thing that's the same on these two builds is the helmet. Every other piece is completely different. And let's take a look at the different builds, okay? On the left build, we have lower HP. We have lower attack, which actually makes more sense because he's not an attack-based champion. We have higher defense. But look at the difference in the speed. Much, much lower. The crit rate is similar, but it actually is going to be better on the right piece because it's a 6-star crit rate glove. And the accuracy is similar. So overall, to me, the build on the right is much better because that difference in speed is massive. And this isn't even taking into account that, you know, both of these boots can get up to level 16. So what was the major difference here? Is we put in an accuracy chest. Because we had an accuracy chest on the build on the right, it allowed us to cheat on the accuracy on the other pieces, which means we could prioritize speed, which actually will give us a lot more value. Now, in a perfect world, maybe I wouldn't put so much speed. Maybe I would drop down the speed a little bit and increase the defense so that it has more survivability, or HP so he has more survivability, or up the accuracy some more so that he has more value in his kit. But again, Armiger's a tough champion to build for the early game, so you kind of just have to play around with your different options and see what you come up with. What am I going to end up building him in? Neither of these two builds. I'm likely going to build him in a Relentless set. I win tournaments, baby. Anyways, I hope this provided you some insight into how you plan out building your champions, how you do this kind of stuff. But the truth of the reality is, you have to roll up a lot of your gear to really understand what your best options are. So for somebody like Armiger, my main priority is speed and accuracy, and probably crit rate. So that's kind of where I start. I look at the 6-star and the 5-star and these 3 pieces. Then maybe I get a little bit less greedy because I don't need as much crit rate. So I go with 6-star again. Okay, 5-star. I start rolling these pieces to see where they're going to land. And that's really the way you have to do it. So if you are looking specifically for speed or accuracy, you want to roll for those things. Why are you rolling for attack percentage? So if I rolled this and the first roll goes on attack percentage, I'm going to move on from this piece. I'm going to look for a different piece that actually has the subspats that I want. Like this piece right here is the perfect speed, or sorry, one of the perfect pieces for Armiger. The only way this could be better is maybe if this was crit rate. But maybe you don't need crit rate because you have a crit rate glove that's 6-star, or you're able to have a 6-star crit rate glove in a crit rate set. Like as you can see I did here, right? I found crit rate in gloves, that's defense percentage, with a set that gives me more crit rate. So that was the ideology of how I built him the first time because I had very limited gear. So every account is different. Every role is different. Even within the roles and the stats themselves, it's going to be different. The important thing is to understand what it is that you're looking for in the skill set, and from there, build the best that you can with the gear that you have. Farm more gear, farm more silver, roll other stuff up, improve, and around you go into that cycle. Quickly, I'm going to go over another defense champion that I built, which is Sepulchre Sentinel. Now, Sepulchre Sentinel is one of those scenarios where, yes, she's a defense-based champion, and her damage is based off of defense, but she only has one attack. One attack that applies a decrease attack debuff. And yes, that damage is based off of defense, but she's not a damage dealer. That's not her goal for me. Yeah, she can do damage if you build her well and you have the gear to do it. But her major focus for me is more like a support champion, because she has an increased defense buff and a block debuff on all allies for 2 turns. So I want her again with speed and defense and survivability with accuracy as her focus. So I built her with my highest star speed boots. I got her in a defense chest and defense gloves that both happen to be in perception, which gives me accuracy. And then everywhere else, I looked for accuracy, accuracy and defense, accuracy, HP, and speed. Again, the survivability and the speed and survivability strategy. Is this the perfect build for her? No, by no means, but it's what I have available to me on this account. So don't expect the world. When you go on websites like Ayuma Love or Hell Hades, they tell you where your stat priority focus should be and what your set focus should be. But keep in mind, this is more for players who have huge sets and have lots of options and lots of gear. That's why I really, really preach the substats over sets focus, because maybe I could build her with a similar type of stat line in an accuracy chest. Or maybe in a broken set, where instead of having her forced in perception, I have, I don't have it, but something like this, right? Maybe I have a defense with accuracy and speed that's a higher roll, which might actually improve her stat line. So as you can see, this piece will bring up her defense and her speed, but it's going to drop the accuracy. So I'd have to find, a piece here that has primarily accuracy rolls. For example, something like that. And then we look and we compare. Okay, her speed went up, but the accuracy went down. What's more important for me in this build? And we work our way like that. So really start by looking at the higher star pieces, roll them, see if they roll what you're trying to land, and then kind of work backwards from there. Again, I know this was covering a lot of the similar type of stuff these last few videos, but it gives you a breakdown into how important it is to understand where you're going to find these stats, where you're going to find these substats, where the primaries come into, the importance of higher star gear, and how to use sets to your advantage. How not to force them always, but sometimes it could make your life easier. Anyways, we'll see you next time. I realized that I never talked about the accessories, so we're going to do a quick little video about that. Hail Hydra!